Greetings everybody and welcome back to Wager Talk TV. This is Pavlos to break down the match between Argentina and Egypt. This goes on Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. But before that, we're number 2 in World Cup profit, plus 39 units over at Wager Talk. I got a 4% total loaded for Monday. If you watch this in time, head over to my page at wt.buzz/pl. You'll find this, and also I've included 2 smaller bets, a 2% side bet and a 2% parlay. I got a parlay piece from one game and another parlay piece from the other game, and also I got a 5% max bet loaded for Tuesday. It's a total, and yeah, doing really well with best bets like plays. You know, my strongest bets like 3% or higher, 18 and 4 so far in the tournament, plus 48 units. I dabbled a little too much in those like 1 unit bets, 2 unit bets, but my strongest bets have been doing really well. You can join in on the action. You can still get the $99 World Cup All Access for you know, the rest of the tournament, or you can buy individual packages, just whatever you like. So now let's move forward to our free play. Argentina versus Egypt. Argentina minus 650 to qualify. Egypt plus 525. For regulation, Argentina minus 270 on the money line. The draw is at plus 385, and Egypt plus 860 underdogs. The spread is set at 1.25 goal, basically a split line between 1 and 1.5, and the total is set at 2.5. Now, guys, listen. This is a very tricky game in the sense that I don't like the spread here. In this, I mean, Argentina, they did struggle to beat Cape Verde, and I think they're gonna be a little more suspicious here, but you know, they beat Algeria by 3-0. Okay, they could have conceded first in that game, so if that goal stood, maybe they wouldn't have covered the spread. Against Austria, we had a 4% on Argentina minus 1. It landed literally in the last seconds of the game. Argentina were on track to win by exactly 1 goal. We got paid, but we got lucky. Jordan, I mean, they beat them by 3-1, but again, they needed a late Messi free kick, I believe. So Argentina are not exactly the team that goes out there and thrashes opponents. Like, if they're 1-0 up, I don't think they're gonna look for a second goal. It's Egypt who are gonna like move forward in the pitch. Maybe Argentina hit on the counter, but Egypt are a very, very tricky side. Guys, I went through, I don't know, maybe back to 2016 or whatever, 10 years of data. They almost never lose by 2 goals. All, like the great majority, like 95% of their losses came by exactly 1 goal, especially in competitive matches. In friendlies, I mean, yeah, they did lose to Brazil by 1 goal. They did lose, I don't know, to Uzbekistan by 2 goals. But keep in mind that in competitive matches, they rarely lose. And when they do, they lose by a very, very small margin. And I know, you know, Argentina have played against much better opponents, and Egypt are playing, you know, against usually against teams from Africa. But even against the best teams from Africa, whenever they lose by a single goal. So if Egypt are to score here, Argentina would need to score 3 in order to cover this this spread. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying that if the spread was at 1, I would definitely be, you know, on Argentina minus 1. Not definitely, but I'd love it even more. But 1.25 is a very tricky line by the books. In fact, I'm considering betting like a small bet. It's not one of my confident bets or my best bets. I'm considering like a 1-2 unit bet maximum on Egypt plus 1.25 goal. Guys, I think the market is overreacting on Argentina a little bit. We've seen very, you know, many upsets. Not just upsets where, for example, Germany, they didn't even beat Paraguay, but keep in mind that France were also, I think, minus 1.5 favorites against Paraguay. They beat them by a single goal. So again, Egypt can score. They've scored in all 4, again, versus worse opposition, but they have a lot of ballers in that squad, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got on the score sheet here. So if they do get on the score sheet again, Argentina would need to score 3. Now, will Argentina score 3? Guys, if the game is at 1-0 or 2-1, Argentina will not exactly push for a goal. They're a team, and going back to how they did in the previous World Cup, they're not a team that goes out and destroys opponents. In the Copa America as well, I mean, in the knockout stages, they needed the extra time to beat Ecuador. They beat Canada, okay, by 2-0, but Canada is no Egypt, and they did beat Colombia again in the extra time. So I think, again, this is a tricky spread. And keep in mind that in the previous World Cup, I mean, they beat Australia by 2-1 in the round of 16. They needed the penalties to beat the Netherlands. Yeah, they did beat Croatia by 3-0. But again, guys, I do not like the spread. I'm very, very much considering a bet on Egypt plus 1.25 goal. So yeah, I think Egypt do have what it takes to at least keep it tight here. So Egypt plus 1.25 goal. So for those of you that are not familiar with Asian lines, this is basically if you bet $100 on Egypt plus 1.25 goal, $50 go to Egypt plus 1.5, and $50 go to Egypt plus 1. So this bet is a full win if Egypt win in regulation. This bet is also a full win if it's a draw in regulation. This bet is a half win, half push if Egypt lose by a single goal. Just to explain it a little further, those $50 that went to Egypt plus 1.5 are won, and those $50 that went to Egypt plus 1 are refunded. Now, if Argentina win by 2 goals or more, we lose the entire stake. But if you think that Argentina win by 2 goals or more, just go ahead and bet Argentina minus 1.25 goal. I do not like the spread. Again, I'm considering very, very much a bet on Egypt plus 1.25 goal. So there you have it, guys. I got a 5% max bet going on Tuesday. It's a total. I got a 4% going on Monday, also a total. I've included 2 more plays in my Monday card. And I think I'm going to add a couple of more in my Tuesday card, in my 5%. So head over to my page, wt.buzz/pl. You'll find all my plays and all my free plays as well, both in written form and in video form. I have some really interesting angles on the Portugal versus Spain game. Just a couple of alternative ways to bet, especially if you have the option of cashing out during the game. So there you have it. My Twitter. I don't think I don't know if it's linked in the description, but it's Poli_WT. So you can find me on Twitter. I'm just tweeting like live bets and stuff like that. So there you have it. Good luck. God bless.